So following on from my Ozito lawnmower review, which came in a kit with two 4 amp hour batteries and 2 chargers, I also bought at the same time the Ozito Brushless chainsaw, 356mm bar and chain. So this particular chainsaw doesn't come in a kit with batteries, so in the end I bought the lawnmower as well. So ended up getting the lawnmower at a marginal price in addition to if I had bought the standalone batteries. So this is the chainsaw unit that I've set up. The instructions were pretty straightforward. So see here what it does. It comes through with a separate motor, and the bar and chain are separate, and you need to put that onto the unit. The only thing that I found a little bit confusing was the direction of the chain. Murphy's Law says that if there is the wrong way to put it on, you will put it on the wrong way. So I followed the instructions there to make sure that as I've installed the chain, it's on the right direction on the bar as you put it on. Other than that, putting the bar and installing the chain was pretty easy and intuitive. As you can see, the unit here, it's pretty solid. It's got a good weight. This is actually the first chainsaw that I purchased. The reason why I purchased it is because we got a heap of wood to get through, but also we installed a quadrifier inset unit into the chimney, so it's given me a good excuse to get a chainsaw finally. It's every young man's desire to get yourself a chainsaw, and this is my first one here. As you can see here with the chain, the instructions recommend that you torsion it up so that it's just a little bit of slack on the bar itself. It's probably a little bit too tight from what I can see. To untighten it, there's a little locking screw here. You just unlock, and then this red knob here, you can torsion it up or loose it and then lock it down. So there's a little bit more slack there. And what I did when I was at Bunnings as well, I just had to make sure that in addition to getting the 2 batteries, which I got out of the lawnmower kit, you also get some bar and chain oil. Now I've gone the super size 4 litre version. There was an option of a 1 litre version. The price difference of getting the 4 litres not much more than 1 litre times 4, but also I picked myself up a funnel, so I didn't have to use one of the kitchen funnels, and I've already topped it up. What you do, there's a little knob, on the top here, and on the back here there's a little level here to tell you how much oil you've got. It's a little minimum level. You pour it in, and you quite clearly see the oil raise up, and then as the chain rotates, it self oils to make sure that you're getting a smooth cut and you're not destroying the actual unit. So I think I'm almost ready to go. I'll install the batteries and give the log on the chainsaw stand a bit of a go. Just going to get the unit going. I've got the 2 batteries on the side here. See how easy it is to install the batteries. So there's one battery. Install it there. Install the other battery. There's the 2 batteries. They're fully charged. There's 2 switches here. There's one on the bottom here and a little safety. We'll see how it goes. Hold it down. You can see here that the unit takes a little while to cycle up to speed, so make sure before I dig it in I'll cycle it up to speed. So you can see here on the back here there's a gripper here that I'm supposed to put into the log first before I get started to make sure that the log doesn't kick. So I'll give this a go and see how it pans out. I've got my firebox. I would fairly small pieces because it's not a huge box, big enough, but we'll see how it goes now. What I did notice is that I've probably got it on the wrong side, so what I'll do, I'll just flip this log around to suit my style of chainsaw to be a little bit safer. So you can see here that the chainsaw log has just fallen off. Just need to flick it in. Right. Just reposition this a little bit better. Right, there we go. And another go. Just checking the bar here as well. So there's a safety bar here. Stop. Right, let's give it a go. First cut good. Right, let's see what we can do over here. I'll just reposition the log, get the back end of this log off. As you can see, I'm my first time chainsaw user, so we'll see how it goes and how easy it is. I'm just wary of is this log flicking up as it comes down. So we'll see how it goes. I might actually go the middle so that it's not less likely to flick up as it comes up. Move this a little bit along so I get a smaller log here. Just cut through here. So in theory that should stay up without it falling over. Give this a go. So what I'll do, just position that. Position that so it gets a little bit locked in there. That'll be a bit better for me to cut through, I think. So just check you can see here that the chainsaw, this Ozito stand, I'll just push it out, help it lock in a bit. Just need to check it as you go to make sure that it's safe. So I'm not convinced about the safety of that stand yet, but looks like it's okay. Give this one a go. Take this around a bit. Let's go straight through the centre. See how we go. So you can see here that the chainsaw log holder has come loose again, so I'm going to have to maybe reposition that on my next few cuts. So I've had a bit of a go at cutting through the paper bark tree, which is quite a soft tree. It's a bit easier for the chainsaw to get through. So this one here, I'll be testing the limits of the chainsaw on the chainsaw log holder. It's a little bit thicker. It's a pretty green piece of pine and pretty thick, so we'll see how we go. It might require that I reposition the log as we go, see how it handles. Okay, so I'm starting to work up a bit of a sweat, but getting used to it at the same time. I'm going to get through a few logs here now and see how the little unit goes as I work my way through this progressively. So what I found with some of the bigger logs is if you cut down from the top, the chainsaw will get a little bit stuck at the bottom. So the technique that I'm trying here is just to do a slight undercut and then to come down from the top so that it doesn't get stuck as the two pieces fall in to each other. I'll just show you that now. So you can see there that the chainsaw manages to get through those pretty big paperbark tree logs pretty well. The pine tree that I'm getting through is struggles a little bit more, but it does a pretty good job. Tell you what, it saves me a lot of time trying to split them or otherwise hand saw them. I'm pretty impressed with this little unit so far, and the battery seems to be working quite well. I've got through a wheelbarrow's worth of wood and also created a small stack of wood that I'm temporarily stacking on bricks until I get through all of this. Okay, so the last type of log that I'm going to try and do is one of the big base of the pine tree logs that got felled. So I can just barely lift this up by myself, so clearly it's not appropriate to put on the stand. What I'm going to try and do is do an undercut and then come down from the top, and we'll get a good idea of how well this little unit performs with this massive log that I'm about to deal with and how long it's going to take me. What I've done, I've set it up on 2 logs so that I can get underneath it, but also buttressed the 2 logs on either side so they don't roll left or right as I'm trying to undertake the cut. So we'll see how we go. All the best with it. Right, going to give another log a go, and then I'll probably pack up the camera for now and just finish the job. There you go, it took me about 4 or 5 swoops of the splitter and it's come in too. So good work with the chainsaw and the splitter there in combo. So I was just getting through this last log here, and the unit appears to have run out of juice. But all in all, I think it's done a pretty good job. As you can see, I've still got a lot more work ahead of me. The big 2 units that broke its back effectively were the 4 logs in the back. I went through those. As you can see through those logs, they're a pretty significant diameter there. So that's those 2 logs. That was the first log that I did, and then the ones on the side there, which I just finished with a log splitter. In terms of the work that I've managed to get done today, before the batteries died on me, I've got a small pile of logs which are suitable for throwing directly into my firebox, my Quadrifire firebox now. And I've also got a wheelbarrow of wood here as well. So I'm pretty happy in terms of the longevity. And look, the big plus about this particular unit, because it is cordless, it's the larger 356mm unit. I'm glad that I picked that over the 250mm bar unit, which was a single battery. I think I'd be charging the battery too often with that one. I did notice that at the end of the session that when the batteries have gone flat, that the oil reservoir looks almost on min. So to me that's a good pairing, in the sense that I wouldn't inadvertently empty the oil. It will probably take me through a whole session before the oil finishes. So after recharging the batteries and coming back to finish off the job, I've put the batteries in and done a few cuts. And then the chainsaws just stopped and refused to start. So I just pulled open the cover. You can see there that there's quite a bit of chainsaw dust in the actual mechanism. I'll clean it out. I suspect that's the reason that's causing it to stop. And we'll see how we go and continue on. Okay, so what I can see, I think the issue is that one of the batteries, the right hand side battery, just didn't exactly click in properly. So once I've pushed it in and made sure it's in firm, it seems to be working again. We'll continue working as we go, but otherwise the unit seems to be going pretty good. If that resolves the issue, I'll be pretty happy. So in terms of wrap up today, I'm pretty happy with the performance of this machine. Once I got used to it, I really started to whip through. I think the use of the chain log saw, also once I got used to that, I really started whipping through. It's quite a useful thing to have because you get the height of it and you don't risk cutting the chainsaw blade into the ground if you're trying to work off the ground. As you can see, I've made pretty short work of quite a lot of the smaller logs that we've had in the backyard, but I still have a bit of work to do with the bigger logs. So I'll have to stack those up logs on logs, as I did with the demonstration of the 2 big pine logs. I did have a moment there with the Ozito, having a thought there that maybe I should have taken my brother's advice to buy a more expensive unit, and it's like the oh no, cheap tool fail moment. But what it was, the one of the batteries, although it sounded like it had clicked, it hadn't quite been pushed in all the way, and so it was working on and off, and then as you jiggle it, it would turn on, and so it felt like an overheat type problem. But all you need to do, one of the sides of the batteries, I just needed to push it in a bit further, and after that didn't have any dropout of power at all. So all in all, pretty happy with the unit. I think this is going to do me for my needs in terms of making sure that I can cut wood the appropriate size of my inset firebox inside, and looking forward to a couple of years worth of use. The 5-year warranty is good. I'd give it a thumbs up, and if you're happy with my review, feel free to leave a comment, or leave a like comment as well, a thumbs up on my review. Thanks for tuning in.